Okay. Hello, everyone, and thanks again for joining us today. Today is the fourth presentation of NAMC's IZS 2021 lecture series. Today's presenter is Fariborz Shahzadi, and his topic is Zoroastrianism 101. Fariborz has written several books on our religion that are both easy to read and understand. And if I can understand them, I presume most people can. He will also talk about Sudre Kushti Pravahar. More importantly, he will talk about the basic meaning of the basic prayers and how we can be guided by them in our daily lives. So from my standpoint, I really believe that most of us are not scholars. Some are, and they can dissect each sentence in the Gatha and so on and so forth. But there is nothing scholarly about understanding the simple basic concepts of Zarathustra's teachings, such as righteousness, truthfulness, charity. There are no two meanings. There's only one meaning. And if we just learn those basic concepts and values, I think we can change our lives for the better. So a few words about Fariborz. Fariborz was born in Nashik, India, and he was trained and initiated as a Mobed in Mumbai. After completing his graduate studies in the US, he emigrated to Iran, where he completed his army training and worked in Tehran until the revolution. So after the revolution, he moved to California, where he presides, and he provides religious and spiritual services to fellow Zarthustis. So Fariborz.
Thank you very much. Before I start, I want to take you to the next one. And I would like you to all raise your hands, please. If you want to cover your head or if you want to put your hand on your head, it's fine. Let's say one Hashem Vahu together and start this new journey in the basic things we need to know. So with that, Hashem Vahu. Hashem Vahu Vahishem Asti Ushta Asti Ushta Amai Yadashai Vaishtai Shem. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. If you can mute everybody, Mehbad, if you can mute everybody.
Sure.
First of all, I want to thank NAMC to allow me this opportunity to share this information with you. And what this information has been out there, but what I am trying to do is, for many decades, I've given you this information. It's the same information, but always it's a different format and a new audience or a different audience. Now it's just a refresher course, and I want to give you the basic. And if you know anything different or if you learn something new from it, you should appreciate it, but that's based on that. Also, I want you to know that this information usually is covered in 3 hours or 4 hours. I've tried to condense it into less than an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And to make it more interesting, NAMC has welcomed Mayor Pavri, and she's going to read the questions to me. And as she's reading the questions, I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. With that, I just want you to know that this session is already in a question answer format. And we don't have too much time to answer questions at the end, but if there is time, I'll try to answer some questions from all of you. You can put it on chat and we'll talk about it. So with that, let's start. Mayor, it's all yours now. Let's go.
Okay, let's get started. What are the Zoroastrian scriptures called? The Korde Avesta or the Gathas?
Interesting point. I do a lot of teaching and seminars, and I have regular classes. One of the things that people in the class are not aware of, the students are, they think everything we know about the Zoroastrian religion is inside this Gathas, which is correct, but there's more to it. Also, they see this blue book or the red book or the white book that their parents have it or they have it, or the green book. And they said, the Korde Avesta, that's everything. No, I want to share with you the Avesta, which is our religious scriptures or our religious texts, are not just one little book, but it's can be divided into 5 different divisions. Now, the Gathas are a compilation of texts which are in the early Gothic language, and then many of the other scriptures are in the younger Avesta, which are easier to understand, but more interpretations based on the Gathas. Now, I just want to give you an information that during the time of Asho Zarathustra, the written language was not invented. So hence, whatever was handed down to us from generation to generation was given to us orally. And it is believed that the Avestan alphabet was not put into print until the 5th century after Christ. So anything that's in blue are special notes I've created so that you remember things about our scripture, about our religion. Now let's go to the next one. So what are the core, the absolute basic central scriptures of the Zoroastrian religion, of the Avesta? And let me make it very clear, the core of our religion is the yasnas, and they're contained in 72 chapters. Now, please be aware these 72 chapters keep on repeating itself in many things that I discussed today. And in those 72 chapters are the 17 chapters of the Gathas, which are the teachings that were handed down to us orally over the years in the Gathas, which are the teachings of our prophet Zarathustra. Now, just a little note. I remember when I was initiated into the Navar ceremony, Parvez Nalladaru, Ervad Parvez Nalladaru, Movit Parvez Nalladaru, he gave me this book of 72 chapters called the Yasnas. And I had to perform my ceremony for 9 days, and on the 10th morning, using the yasnas. So to me, that Ijasni ceremony, which I performed on the last day, on the 10th morning, was based on the 72 chapters of the yasna. So then comes the second part of our second division of our Avesta. What is the second division? The Khorde Avesta. Now this is the same book, the yellow book, the green book, the red book, the white book, the blue book that you find. Now what these are extracts from the Avesta, and they are used in our daily prayers. So this is something to know. Second part. There are 3 other parts. The Avesta consists also of the yashts, which are in 21 chapters. Now what are the yashts? They are the hymns of praise and reverence devoted to the worship of the divinities or attributes of our Mazda. Then comes the Visparad. Now Visparad is something that we use, Mubits especially, in our Gambar prayers and in other Zoroastrian religious ceremonies. And the Visparad, which is the 4th part of our 4th division of our Avesta, is contained in 24 chapters. And one major, the final thing, and many people ask me this question, is Mubit, what is the Vandidad? So the Vandidad in chapters, there are 22 chapters. Now, versus Gathas, which are in the poetry form and has a rhythmical pattern, the Vandidad are in a prose format, and they are the collection of laws, of ancient laws of purity, religious practices, social and cultural rules that were handed down to us over the generations. Now, I remember when I performed my Martab ceremony, or the 2nd level of priesthood, Parvez Nalladaru gave me the Vandidad, which is 22 chapters, and I had to use those, memorize it. I didn't memorize it completely, but I could read from it, from the Vandidad, to reach the 2nd level of becoming a priest, which is the Martab and the Martab ceremony. With that, let's go over to the second. Go ahead, Mayor.
In one word, what is the most fundamental principle of the Zoroastrian religion?
This should be easy, but just in case, I'm gonna put the famous 4-letter word called Asha. Asha is fundamentally, I've learned, the most common thread that puts our religion together with everything. And I'm going to tie Asha to so many other parts of my presentation as we go on this journey. So what is Asha? It can be interpreted differently. The most easiest way of Asha is righteousness, the translation of it. So please read the slide. It's a changeless, eternal law of God. It is the law of progress, movement, harmony, goodness, justice, love. And Asha teaches us to act in our life and behave in the right and in the correct manner. And Asha constitutes three parts. One of them is order, truth, and righteousness. And these are the main qualities of Asha. So if we follow the practice of order, truth, and righteousness in life, we are living the life of Asha. And Asha stands also for internal purity and external purity. For us to be clean on the inside, do the right thing all the time, and stay clean in our life. And that's external purity. So let's go to the next question.
At what levels can Asha be practiced or perceived by a person?
Perfect. Now, I want you to remember this triangle because I'll refer to it later on. And you will see it. All of you have noticed it. And then once you see it somewhere, you can see this triangle. So Asha can be perceived on a physical level, a psychological level, and ultimately on a spiritual level. So going to the next slide. At a physical level, we need to appreciate, understand that we human beings have been given this exacting order that exists in the universe. Everything that has been given to us is exact, and we have to go with that. And based on that physical level of appreciating the exacting order, we should, on a psychological level, use Asha as a powerful tool to learn the truth and teach ourselves how to be a good Zoroastrian. If we follow the physical level of Asha and a psychological level, then we can reach the spiritual level of Asha, which is the fusion of exacting order and the truth, leading yourself or a person to follow the path of righteousness or Asha in life.
How many verses and words are in the Ashemvahu prayer?
Very interesting. When I grew up, I was not aware of verses and words. Before sleeping, Mama used to always make us say the Ashemvahu Yathavaryu, and we try to say it so fast so we can finish it and go to sleep. So it was not till later on in life that I learned that the Ashemvahu prayer is not one continuous prayer. It is not Ashemvahu Vaishnamasi Ushtasti Ushtamai Yedachai Vaishnayashem. What it is three different and distinct verses. I don't want to say different, but distinct verses and 12 words that combine together to make this a prayer. And we must accept, and I hope you accept, that if you accept Asha, righteousness in your life, this prayer is a reminder of Asha Vahishta or Asha. And it's a reminder when you pray the Ashemvahu prayer, just like I started with this session with this Ashemvahu prayer, that I accept that Asha is a principle which is going to lead me to a better life, to a better righteousness, to more righteousness in my life. So what are those 3 verses and 12 words? Okay, so the first verse has 4 words in it. And when I pray it, I always pause after the 4th word. So it goes Ashemvahu Vahishtam Asti. And there's a pause because it has its own meaning. It says Asha, righteousness, is the best gift given to human beings. And then I continue on to the 2nd verse, which is only 2 words. Ushta Asti. And I pause there because it means Asha, if followed, can lead to happiness, which is the goal of every human being, I guess. And then comes the 3rd verse, which has 6 words. Ushta Asti, Ushta Amai, Yat Ashai Vaishtai Hashem. These 6 words and the 3rd verse gives you the key to happiness. And who does happiness belong to? It belongs to the person who follows the basic principle of Asha, truth and righteousness. So let's go to the next prayer.
Why is the first and last word
Oh,
the
sorry.
same in Ashembahu?
Yeah, I want you to also appreciate that many years I knew I said the Ashembo prayer. I didn't realize it, but I want you to appreciate that the Ashembo prayer is not one long prayer. It's a circular prayer. It's a round prayer, because Ashembo, and just say it in your mind, Hashem Vahu Vahishtam Asti, Ushta Asti, Ushta Amaya Tashai Vaishtai Hashem. The prayer starts with Hashem and ends in Hashem. So once again, reminding you and every human being to lead the life of Hashem, Asha Vahishta or Asha. So that is something I want you to appreciate. Okay, let's go to the next verse, next prayer.
Yep, the next question is, how many verses and words are in the Yatha Ahuveryo prayer?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I again remember Mama used to make us recite the Yathaveryo. I used to say it so fast. Yathaveryo Atharato Shati the Chavankyos Zamanango Shatanamikyos Mazak Shatran Chavrai, Im the Review that was that. Again, we didn't realize that, I didn't realize that it was one prayer with distinct verses and different words. So let's break it down now. So the Yathavari prayer is not one long prayer again. It is 3 verses with 21 words. 3 verses with 21 words. So what is the first verse? The first verse has 8 words in it. So it's Yatha Ahuveryu Ataratu Shashachit Hacha. And the verse ends right there. So when I say the Yathavari prayer, most of the times I pause at Hacha. And there are 2 important concepts in it. One of them is Ata and one is Ratu. So when you have Ata, it stands for the physical power you have. And the Ratu stands for spiritual power. And in addition, the first verse is very important to us. And that is using the physical power we have and the spiritual power that you've been given. You are responsible for all your actions in your life. You have to judge for yourself and be responsible for all your actions. And that's very important. You cannot blame it on your parents. You cannot blame it on your neighbor. You cannot blame it on anybody else. So the first verse teaches us you're responsible for your actions because you have the physical power and the spiritual power. 8 words, first verse. Let's go to the second verse. Now, the second verse has 6 words in it. Vangehosh, I've heard many people say Angehosh, and that's incorrect. It's not Angehosh, it's Vangehosh, Dasda, Manangu, Shautananam, Angehosh, Mazdai. So, once again, you remember the 3 basic principles of our Zoroastrian religion: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. So this highlights good thoughts, good intellect, and clear understanding. O Wahumana, O Wahuman. And the second verse of the Yathavari declares that you should have and use your good intellect to fulfill the wishes of God and to have a better life for you. So that's what the second verse outlines. Now let's go to the third verse. The third verse has 7 words. So 8, 6, and 7. Chashatrencha aurae a yim deregubiu dadat wastaren. Now, this is a totally different thing. You know, if you see the Daramir in Chicago, if you see the Daramir in Orange County, in California, all over, this is where people have shown generosity. People put money together for people that are needy in life and it declares that if you can help needy people, be generous. If you do, you'll receive the power of heaven and earth from Aura Mazda. Therefore, charity is a major principle in the Zoroastrian religion, and it's outlined in the Yatavari prayer, the 3rd verse.
Why do we tie the front knot of the kusti with the word Shyotananam in the Yathahuvaryo prayer?
Okay, so all of us tie the kushti around us, and when we do the first part of the first knot in the front, we start tying the first knot with the word Shyotananam in the Yathavari prayer. And then again, when we complete tying the knot, we again tie the second part of it with the word Shyotananam. And why do we do it? Shyotananam means work, or work towards or achieve. So when you're tying the first knot, you're declaring that I'm tying this knot in my kushti as a reminder to work towards fulfilling the wishes of God or Aura Mazda, and to be a better person at the same time. So when we say the word Shyotananam, I want you to appreciate it, that you are taking a commitment, making a commitment, and taking a step to work towards and achieve to be a better person and to fulfill the wishes of God, which is to be a righteous person.
What are the meanings of the 5 Gatha titles?
This is very interesting. Many of us know this, some of us don't know, but it's interesting to know that each of the 5 gathas, we have the Aunavaiti or Aunavat, Oshtavat, Spentamad, Vokashat, Vaishnavish Gatha, which contain the philosophies, teachings, meanings of the Zoroastrian religion. Each of them has a meaning, and I want you to appreciate it through this slide. The Aunavaiti, Aunavat Gatha, the Ushtavaiti Gatha, the Spentamite Gatha, the Volkhashat Gatha, and the Vaishnavish Gatha. These titles do have a meaning, and it's good to know that there is a meaning to each of these titles of the Gathas. Mayor?
Yep. How many chapters, verses, lines, and words are in the Gathas, and where are they located in the yasnas?
Yasnas, okay, not the Gathas. I made a mistake in the slide. It's in the yasnas. It's not a trick question, but I want you to know that I'll show you, share. So the Gathas, which are the 17 chapters only, contain 6,000 words only, have 1,300 lines and 230 verses. So what has been handed down to us, even though it may not be a complete plan for the teachings of Ashu Zarathustra, is short, sweet, and pretty useful to us to lead a better life, which is there. So I want you to know that the Gathas, not important to know, but good to know that if you have Gathas in front of you, there are only 17 chapters as we have been handed down in 238 verses only, in 1,300 lines and 6,000 words about. So where are they and if you look at the yasanas, the 72 chapters of the yasana, the main core of the prayers, the main core of our scriptures, they have 72 chapters. And I'll keep on tying these 72 chapters later on as we get into the next part. So where is the first Gatha located? It's in the brown writing. So the first Gatha in the yasana starts at 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. 7 chapters start at chapter 28 of the yasanas. Then the second Gatha comes in chapter 43. 43, 44, 45, 46. There are 4 chapters in it. Then come the third Gatha, which is again 4 chapters, which is 47, 48, 49, 50. And then the fourth and the fifth gatha are one chapter each, which is 51 and 53. So this makes you appreciate the 7 chapters are interspersed in the yasanas. And that's why I consider yasana to be a very important core scripture of the Zarathustra religion. So let's break down. The first gatha is 7 chapters, which is chapter 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Now, how many verses does it have? Not important, but it's good to know. And I consider this to be a very important chapter. It has 100 verses. The second one has 4 chapters, 66 verses. The third gatha has 4 chapters, 41 verses. The fourth gatha is 1 chapter with 22 verses. And the final gatha has 1 chapter, 9 verses. And I hope you can appreciate the different parts and the different chapters of the gathas. Now, people ask me throughout the yasanas, the Yathaveri prayer, Hashem Vow prayer, and the Yenge Hatam prayer are interspersed. But before chapter 28 starts, there's a sequence of prayers, which is the Yathaveri prayer, the Hashem Vow prayer, and the Yenge Hatam prayer. And I like this sequence before the 28th gatha, the first gatha starts. Is the Yathaveri prayer is chapter 27.13. Chapter 27, verse 13. Hashem Vow is chapter 27, verse 14. And the Yenge Hatam prayer, which is chapter 27, 15. Why is it important? When I say my prayers, I start my prayers with Yathaveri, Hashem Vow, and Yenge Hatam in that sequence, because on chapter 28, the actual gatha start. Now we come to the Sadre. I'll hold the Sadre in front of you. There it is.
Nice. How many directions does the Sadre have?
Okay. The Sadre, there's a translation for the meaning or the word Sudre, Sedre is a garment of the good mind, Vohumana. Remember that, which everybody knows, good thoughts. So the Sadre has 3 directions. The front of the Sadre represents the future, and it's a reminder to you to live the life of righteousness or asha. The back of the Sadre represents the past. You learn from your past, and with you wearing it represents the present and leading a life every moment with asha and righteousness. Those are the 3 directions of this garment of the good mind.
What is the significance of the Sadre being cut out of one piece of cloth?
I have recently come to appreciate this, and I want you to appreciate that when the Sadre is cut and stitched together, it's made out of one piece of cloth. And it's only stitched on the side to make it a garment. So what is the significance behind that? One fold, one piece of cloth. And when you wear the Sadre or you look at the Sadre, I want you to know that we all, Zoroastrians, non-Zoroastrians, brown people, yellow people, black people, white people, blue people, green people, whatever our color is, whatever our background is, we are all cut from one fold of cloth. And we as human beings should unite ourselves not only as Zoroastrians, but as people of the world community, regardless of our differences. You could be short, long, good looking, not so good looking, wearing glasses, not wearing glasses. But this Sadre is a reminder, we all cut from the one fold of cloth, and let's be united as a world community of good people.
So why are there 2 tiris or stitches in each side at the bottom of the Sadre?
I'm sure everybody has noticed it, but I want to bring out my Sadre, and there are 2 stitches, one on each side at the bottom. There's a straight stitch, and on the other side at the bottom, there's a triangular stitch. You can touch it, feel it if you're wearing a sidra or if you have it around. So remember the triangle of Asha, the triangular stitch. Let's start with straight stitch. The straight stitch is teaching you this is not a perfect world. Nobody's perfect. Fariborz is not perfect. Probably you are not, maybe you are, but it's a reminder that this is not a perfect world and you're not perfect. However, by touching it, by wearing it on your sidre, you're reminding yourself, let's strive for perfection. Let's strive for betterment. Let's strive towards the goal of being perfect. On the other side of the sidre is a triangular stitch, again, reminding you of the three levels you can perceive or understand or live Asha, righteousness, which is the physical level, the psychological level, and the spiritual level. So these are the stitches on the sidre, what they mean. Now, this is not a question, I'm going to throw it in. Of course, the sidre or the sadro has two pouches, one at the back, one in the front. These are the pouches of the potential good deeds. And to me, this is a shopping list. The back pouch is a shopping list. You write down, I'll do this to be a better person. I'll do this to be a better person. I do a better person. You remind yourself at night or in the morning, these are the things I need to do to be a better person. And when at the end of the day, when you're ready to move on to the next day, you check mark. Did I live up to being a better person? So the front pouch is where you put that shopping list of being a good person and put it in front to be a better person. And if you forgot any of those points you wrote in the back pouch, you can put it in the front pouch and then again put it in the back pouch the next day. So the back pouch symbolically is a storehouse of potential good deeds, and the front pouch symbolically is a potential store for good deeds when completed. And of course, it's made out of white cloth, not green, not blue, not pink, not yellow. My granddaughter says, Grandpa, why is it made white? Why not pink? It's my favorite color, not white. So the white in the sidre symbolizes purity of thoughts and reminds us to be a righteous person. Now let's go to the kashti.
Why does the kusti have 72 primary strands and 12 secondary woven strands of 6 making 72 primary strands?
Excellent question. Thank you very much. Let's go into this. So this kasti that you have in front of you, and I've actually seen a video. I've not seen an actual person weave it, but when they start doing it, or they start weaving the kasti, they start with 72 long primary strands of wool. And remember the 72 chapters of Yasna, where the gathas are contained? Each of the 72 strands of this kasti reminds you of the 72 chapters of the Yasnas or the Yashni. Now, when they take the 72 strands together, they divide it up into 12 parts of 6 each. 12 parts of 6 each, making 72. Now, you remember how many words in the Ashambho prayer? 12. So there are 12 words in the Ashambho prayer. They put them together in 12 strands of 6 each. And I'll go into the 6 each. And why are the 6? 12 times 6. So I'll go into the next slide when I say that. But I'll give it to you now. There are, how many Gahambars do we have in the year besides Nowruz? 6. 12 times 6 is 72. 12 words of the Ashambho prayer, 12 months of the year times 6 Gahambars is equal to 72.
What is the significance of the 3 tassels on each end of the kusti?
Excellent, excellent. So if you take your kasti and if you look at the ends of it, there are 3 tassels on each end of the kasti. Now, in the olden days, I remember my dad used to give us a new kasti, and this was his explanation. Maybe it's correct, incorrect, I don't know. So when he gave us every Nowruz, every New Year, which is happening in 5 more days seasonally on the 20th of March for those who follow the Iranian New Year, we used to get a new kasti, a new kushti. And this was a representation of Nowruz, the New Year. And we had 6 tassels on the end. And my dad used to remind, now we were born in Nashik, a place where we didn't have a dharam hair, we didn't have a Agiary or Atash Behram, you know. So this was a reminder. It says, Fariborz, I want you to remember, besides your daily prayers, there are 6 times of the year I want you to celebrate Nowruz and the 6 Gambors. And he even taught me that at the end of each Gambor, when we prayed, tie a knot so that you know that you have celebrated each Gambor. Now that's just my dad. I want you to also appreciate it that the 6 tassel stands for the 6 Gambors. At the end of the Gambor, you can tie a knot as a reminder you did attend, you did celebrate the 6 Gambors. And wearing the koshti reminds you to celebrate Nowruz, the New Year. Okay, just one other thing, the 6 Gambors, of course, each of the Gambors are connected to the 6 Amshar Spentas, and each of the 6 Amshar Spentas are connected to divinities that we take care of based on the creations of our Mazda.
Why do we tie the kusti 3 times around the waist?
Piece of cake, piece of cake. I think everybody knows that, but just in case, we start the kushti in the front at the belly button, go around on the sadre, come back, do the Yathaveri prayer. During the Yathaveri prayer, we try the first part of the knot with Shotananam. We put the second part of the knot with Shotananam, tie it, then go to the back and say Vanashambhahu and tie the kushti 3 times around the waist. Why? Of course. Symbolically reminding every Zoroastrian wearing it of the 3 divine principles of Zoroastrianism, which are good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. And it's a reminder to practice, not only remember it, but to practice these 3 principles in everyday life.
Why do we tie the back knot of the kusti with the Ashemvahu prayer?
Okay, so these 2 prayers keep on appearing in our life as life lessons to us. The Yathaveri prayer with the word Shotananam, reminding us to be better Zartushtis, to be more righteous, and tie the knot with the word Shotananam. Now, when we go around to the back, which is the 3rd part of the koshti tying, we tie the full knot at the back with the Ashembo prayer. So the rare knot of the koshti is tied, reciting the Ashembo prayer, making a commitment, it's a promise, a commitment to ourselves to lead the life of Asha or righteousness. And I've told you about Shotananam, that we'll work towards becoming a better person. So these are things that we do all the time. I want you to appreciate why we do it. With that.
What is the significance of the sudre made from cotton and the kusti made from wool?
Excellent, excellent. Now, God gave us 6 creations. It's Zoroastrian philosophy. And by wearing the sudre and appreciating the sudre, being out of cotton, we are representing and thanking Aura Mazda, our God, for giving us cotton, which comes from the plant kingdom, and for giving us the plant kingdom. And it's a reminder to preserve and protect the plant kingdom or the plants, because they provide so much to our environment and to us. And the koshti is made out of wool. The wool represents the animal kingdom, which is again an important creation of Ahura Mazda, and a reminder to preserve and protect the animal kingdom. So that's what this is all about. Now let's go to the next one. And the question is,
what is the meaning of the word Fravahar?
Okay, I want to show you. So there are times when people ask me, Mubejan, what is the correct facing of the Fravahar symbol, the Fravahar image? Should it be to the right or should it be to the left? Yeah, there are arguments and there are discussions and all that. Once I go through the meaning of the word Fravahar, it may not be as important which direction the face points. Some people believe it should point to the right, especially Iranians, because to them right is Rosti. Rosti is right, Rost, right, rightness. If you learn the word Fravahar and the meaning of the word Fravahar, also called the Fravahashi, we can appreciate which direction it should point. Okay, so what is Fra? Fra, just like in Latin, Fra means forward, ahead. And Vahad is a pulling or a carrying force. So if there's one direction where the Fravahar should point, not the left side, not the right side, it should point forward, because this image or this symbol, the Fravahar symbol, also called the Fravashi in Iranian Zartushi, Iranians call it Fravashi, is to remind a person, a Zoroastrian, to lead a life of progress and betterment. Now you decide. I'm not gonna get into any argument, decision. Should it point to the left or point to the right? I'm saying if you have the Fravahar, remember it's an image that's taking you to a better person, a better life, and it's an image, a symbol of betterment in life.
So what do the wings in motion under the waist signify?
Okay, now this is a little tricky and it's ambiguous. I'm just wanna add to it. So if you look at the Fravahar symbol and the wings at the bottom, there are three divisions or three levels in it. To me, these wings are in motion. Just think of it as in motion. So the wings in motion or movement, they represent upward or forward progress. But there are some interpretations I've gone through. It says, because it's below the waist, stay away from bad thoughts, bad words, and bad deeds. I don't want to be the judge. I'm just throwing it open to you. You decide that the wings at the bottom below the waist represent forward movement, and when they're in motion, they represent upward progress and forward progress.
What is the significance of the ring in hand and the hand pointing upwards to signify in the Fravahar symbol?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mir. Mir, by the way, I appreciate what you're doing. You're so kind. You're so
I appreciate
sweet.
You. Thank you.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. It breaks up the monotony of me talking all the time. Thank you. So, significance of the ring in the hand and the hand pointing upwards. Let's go and take a look at the picture. So, very easy to remember. The ring in the hand is a ring of promise. And it is, again, a reminder to you in the Fravahar symbol that if you make a promise to be righteous, if you promise somebody something, make sure as a good Zartushti, you remember to keep that promise. And that's the ring of Asha, the ring of promise. The other hand is always pointing upwards, of course. Even though Ahura Mazda is all around us, in us, we have symbolically saying that Ahura Mazda is overlooking you and protecting you. So the hand pointing upwards reminds you that Aura Mazda, our God, is looking over you. Don't panic. He is looking after you. So that's what the hand looking upwards signifies.
How many feathers should there be in the wings at the waist of the Fravahar symbol?
Important, very important. Now, I've seen Fravahar symbols anywhere from 36 to 52 to 101 feathers in the wings. I feel the correct number of feathers that should be in the Fravahar wings should be 72. And I tied back to the original, our Avastha and the main core of our Avastha teachings or the scriptures are the Yasnas, which contain the 17 chapters of Gathas. The Avastha has, Yasnas have 72 chapters. So there should be 72 feathers in the wings representing the 72 chapters of our Yasnas. And if you see again, the wings have 3 levels or 3 parts in it, starting again with Humata, Hukhta, Havarishta, Manishni, Goveshni, Koneshni. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. The 3 divine principles of our Zoroastrian religion are in the 3 parts of the wings of the Fravahar symbol. Now, I'm just giving you an opinion, and this is my opinion. We call our prophet Asho Zartusht. Asho Zartusht. Asho means somebody who's reached the ultimate level of Ashui, which is righteousness. Sometimes I've heard people call the Fravahar Asho Fravahar. Even though it's correct, I want to restrict the title of Asho to a human being, to a person that lived and gave us our religion. So if you want to call this a Fravahar, a Fravashi, a Farohar, it's good. If you want to call it Asho Farohar, Asho Fravahar, Asho Fravashi, it's okay. It's teaching you righteousness. But the title I only personally, and it's your choice, please. I don't want to be criticized. Oh, Mobet says we cannot say Asho Farohar. Yes, you can. But I retain the title of Asho, who to prophet Zoroaster, Asho Zartush, who reached the level of Ashui. And that's why I call him Asho.
What does the circle at the waist of the Fravahar symbol signify?
Excellent. Now, the correct representation in this image or symbol of the Fravahar, the circle is at the waist, is a very complex, it's a complex explanation. It means the soul is eternal, and it's not a topic to discuss today. But I want you to remember that this ring in the circle in the waist represents that the soul that we have and we are given when we are born and is transferred to another place after we pass on is a representation of. To make it easier, I use a very easy teaching to young kids, to others. And it also makes sense. What goes around comes around. If you're good to others, others will be good to you. So what goes around comes around. You choose your interpretation. If you want to choose both interpretations, you're most welcome to it.
So what do the 2 tassels at the waist of the Fravahar symbol signify?
Beautiful. Our whole concept of Zoroastrianism is based on the ethical dualism of the Zoroastrian. What it means is we feel there are 2 opposing forces confronting us in all walks of life: the good force and the not good force, or the evil force. And these 2 tassels at the waist of the Fravahar symbol is a reminder to us to be cognizant of Spenta menu, which I love. is the good, bountiful, progressive spirit of force. And to be aware that there is another force trying to take away from the goodness and to keep that at a distance. These are not two equal forces, but these are forces which try to interact each other all the time. And these are temptations. These are things that try to take away from asha, righteousness, goodness in our life. Be aware of these two forces. And these are what the two tassels in the flower symbol signify. Okay, we are coming to the end of it. So thank you very much for bearing with me till now. And I'll go through 3 useful mantras. And Mir, please.
Yeah. So what are the meanings of these useful prayers? Jasame havenge mazda, hazangarem, and masnusna ahmi.
The first one, honestly, during COVID times, honestly, during times when my brother passed on, honestly, during a time if I have a car crash, somebody comes and smashes into my car, or honestly, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with sweat all over me, worrying about my family, worrying about things. I say, Fariborz, say the first mantra 3 times. I say it, and if there is any power in a mantra, I call it the Save Our Souls mantra, sinking the ship mantra, or Save Our Souls mantra. I say it 3 times. Jasa me avange mazda. It's a very good, simple 4-letter mantra. It's up to you. You can use it in your life. And it means, Oh Avra Mazda, God, come to my help. So I recite, Oh Avra Mazda, come to my help. Or I can say, Jasa me avange mazda. Jasa me avange mazda. Jasa me avange mazda. So that is what it has. A second part to it, but I like to recite the first part for myself when I want direction from God. Hazangaram. This is part of the Surushwaj prayers. This is part of our Kasi prayers. If you have it, if you know it, if you learned it in your life, usually you say the Tandarosi prayer every day. It's a long prayer. It's a prayer that is available to you. It's something that you can say the whole, and you can ask for Tandarosi for yourself, for family members, for your congregation, for your people, for your community. If you want to say it for yourself in a shortcut, a condensed prayer, it is asking for good health. It's called Hazangaram Peshezanam Beivare Peshezanam. Once again, this prayer is recited 3 times. And it means, may we enjoy good health 1,000 times. So the Hazangaram prayer is a mini Tandarosi prayer and a prayer requesting good health for anybody in your family or for yourself. And here we come to the third mantra, the third prayer, which comes in the Iranian prayers. When we do Surushwaj, we do Avastai Koshti, and we continue with Saroshwaj. We say the first sentence after we tie a Koshti, after we tie a Kasti on a Sadre, we declare our faith to the Zoroastrian religion by reciting the following mantra or following prayer. Mas yasnu ahmi, mas yasnu Zarathushtresh. And this is the declaration of faith, which says, I'm a worshipper of Avra Mazda, as declared by our prophet, Ashu Zarathustra. Thank you very much for the last 53 minutes. I appreciate you being there. I have one final slide to show you. Please read it. This is my full disclosure. This is about my religious expertise. And I'm going to read it for you before I end. Unlike many scholars who have spent years learning the Zoroastrian religion, and this is what Arda said right at the beginning, unlike many scholars who have spent years learning about the Zoroastrian religion and mastering translations of the Avastas, the Yasnas, and the Gathas, I'm just a student, and I continue to learn every day, and I always want to share my knowledge with you and others. Also, the information I shared in this presentation is edited and compiled from many sources, including notes from my dad, my Amo Mehrabon Firuzkari, from my Ostad Mubed Firuze Azargushas, and many books and Gatha books I've studied and learned over the years. But these are only for educational, instructional purposes, because I have not given full credit to all of the notes that I've used in this. Now, finally, the last sentence I want to share with you. Many of you are scholars, many of you have learned the same thing in a different format. And if you have learned something different from some other source, treat this source of my last 55 minutes as additional information, adding a dimension to your knowledge about the Zoroastrian religion. With that, let's say one Hashem Vo prayer, and I'll end the session at 5 times. If I'm allowed any time, I'll answer questions. With that, Hashem Vo prayer, please. Hashem Vahu Vahishtem Asti, Ushta Asti, Ushta Amai Yadashai, Vaishtai Hashem. Thank you very much for giving me the last 55 minutes, 1 hour. Arda, if there are any questions, Kavas, are there any questions?
Fariborz and Mayor, thank you so much both for the wonderful presentation. Now, obviously, Fariborz Mabed is also a member of the association. Mayor, on the other hand, is not a member of the association, but a very good friend of the association. She always helps us. And at the last Congress, I'd just like to add something. Mayor is a soprano and sang for us a few verses of our gathas. They were so wonderful. I would really encourage you to listen to what she sang. There were only 5 verses, I believe, but they were wonderful. And I hope one day she can sing the whole first gatha. That would be wonderful for everyone. Thank you all again.